Good morning, Cappuccino. Ms. Castro here, starting week 2 of home learning and teaching. And today is Monday, March 23rd. I hope you're all doing okay, not too bored, staying safe and healthy. So here is Mr. Alvarez's cell phone number again. If you want help in Spanish, you can call or text him. He also, of course, still speaks English, so you can feel free to contact him in English as well. Or you can email me through Canvas as always. So for our warm-up today, doing some tricky problems with x on both sides of the equal sign. So remember, you need to balance first to get the x by itself. Once you've gotten the x over to the left-hand side, then you can solve using balance or deconstruction. So I'll let you choose whichever way you want. Okay, so right now there's just 2 problems for the warm-up. Go ahead, give it a pause, see if you can do them yourself, and then I'll go over them as well. All right, pause. Okay, hopefully you've tried them now, so now I'm going to try them, and my dogs are singing in the background. Thank you, dogs. Okay, so if I have x on both sides of the equal sign, let me copy this down. I need to get rid of the x on the right-hand side. I do not like having letters on the right. I want all my letters on the left. So to get rid of this 2x, it's a positive 2x, so I'm going to minus 2x. So if I do something to one side, I have to do it to the other side. So I've got this 2x here. To make it go away, I'm going to minus 2x. I still have my minus 8. And on this side, I also have to minus the 2x. So then I still have my 6x plus 20. So 2x minus 2x, that goes away. 2 minus 2 is 0. So that goes away. I'm left with minus 8, which is the same thing as negative 8. On this side, I have 6x plus 20, and I can rewrite this plus a negative 2x. So 6x plus negative 2x is 4x plus 20 equals negative 8. Now it's a nice simple equation. So from here, you can go ahead and either continue with the balance method, or you can do deconstruction. I'll let you finish that one, okay? So let's see, should I just go ahead and tell you the answer? The answer is going to be negative 6, okay? Negative 6. No, it's not. Wait a minute. Let's go ahead and finish this. I was thinking I can do it in my head, but maybe I can't. No, I think it's negative 7. All right, let's go ahead and do it. So if I'm going to continue doing the balance method, but if you want to deconstruct it at this point, you can go ahead and deconstruct it. So doing the balance method, sometimes I like to make a little table. You don't have to, but I like to. X is being times by 4 and added by 20. So I have to do the opposites, would be to be minus 20, and then the opposite of times is divide. So divide by 4, and then I start here and move my way up. So I first need to get rid of that plus 20 by minusing 20. So I'm going to have 4x plus 20 minus 20. That will get rid of the 20. And on the right-hand side, I have negative 8. And if I did something to the left-hand side, I have to do it to the right-hand side. There it is. So 20 minus 20 is 0. I'm left with 4x on the left side. Negative 8, and I can rewrite this, plus negative 20. Negative 8 plus negative 20 is negative 28. Back to my table, it says divide by 4. See, x is being times by 4. To get rid of that, I have to do the opposite. The opposite is to divide by 4. So I'm going to divide by 4. If I do it to this side, I have to do the same thing to the right-hand side. 4 divided by 4 is just 1, so I'm just left with 1x is equal to negative divided by a positive is a negative. That would be negative 7. Okay, so there it is, doing it the balance method. The next one I'll go ahead and do deconstruction, but we first have to simplify it. We've got to simplify it. We can't solve it with all these parentheses. So to simplify it, I am going to rewrite it. 2x plus a negative 5 and I could parse, and I see I need to multiply. Multiply to get rid of the parentheses. 4 times 2x is 8x. 4 times 1 is 4. Then on the right-hand side, 3 times 2x is 6x. 3 times negative 5 is negative 15. All right, look at that again. I got x on the right-hand side. Can't handle that. I got to get rid of that x on the right-hand side. So to get rid of it, I'm going to do the opposite. That's a positive, so I need a negative. I'm going to minus 6x from both sides. So I'm going to have 8x plus 4. I'm going to minus 6x from both sides of my equation. 6, whoops. I meant to do that with this color pen. Clearly, you do not need to change pen colors as you're doing this. I'm just doing it so you can see what's new. So I'm minusing 6x from both sides. 8x minus 6x is 2x. You could have, of course, also rewritten that. And then on the right-hand side, 6x minus 6x, that's just 0. And I'm left with negative 15. All right, so we could do the balance method, or we could deconstruct. Okay, so you know what? I think I'm going to go ahead and show you the balance method without putting it all on the same line. This is another way of showing the balance method. So I see that I have x is being times by 2 and added by 4. So my opposites, I'm going to have to minus 4 and divide by 2. Okay, if you want, though, go ahead and deconstruct. You can deconstruct if you want to. Okay, so minus 4 from both sides. So before I was putting it on a single line, I'm going to go ahead and this saves me some room if I just do it like this. So I'm going to do 4 minus 4 is 0. I'm left with 2x. Negative 15 minus 4, that's the same as negative 15 plus negative 4. That's negative 19. Oh, and this answer has a fractional answer. Oh, what do you know? Okay, and then I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So I'm going to divide both sides by 2. So 2x divided by 2 equals negative 19 divided by 2. I could have done it right on top of that, but I didn't. And I get x equals negative divided by a positive is a negative, and that would be 9.5, negative 9.5. Or I could leave it as a fraction. I could leave it as negative 19 over 2. And I'm going to go ahead and check this, because I'm like, really? Did I really give you that ugly of an answer? Let's go ahead and check it. 4 times 2 times negative 19 over 2 plus 1. I'm going to do the left-hand side first in my check. Look at this. 2 divided by 2 is 1. So I have 4 times negative 19 plus 1. That's parts. Negative 19 plus 1 is negative 18. Negative 18 times 4. Who made up this problem? 4 times 8. 4 times 8 is 32. Carry my 3. That's 7. That's negative 72. Okay, the left-hand side gave me negative 72. Now I'm going to do the right-hand side. 3 times 2 times negative 19 over 2 plus negative 5. Okay, so again, the 2 divided by 2 is just 1. So I'm left with negative 19 plus negative 5. Negative 19 plus negative 5 is negative 24. 3 times negative 24. 3 times 4 is 12. Carry my 1. Oh, negative 72. Happy face. I got the same answer on both sides. My answer checked. Wow, that was a huge problem. All right, so you can write the answer as this or this. All right, so we're getting some tough problems. This is what you're going to be seeing in your math space assignment today. Okay, we're going to go over to notes because we are going to have one more level of difficulty. We're getting to some hard stuff today. So let's find my notes. Where are my notes? Here we go. Check out this problem. Okay, what if I want to balance this? Very interesting. So if I want to solve this with the balance method, again, I can make a little table to get organized first. Here's my x. What's happening to x? It's being times by 10, and then it's being added by 14. Next, it's all being divided by 2, and then finally it's being added by 7. So to solve this, I need to do the opposites. I need to minus 7. The opposite of divide is times. The opposite of plus is minus. And the opposite of times is divide. So here's what I need to do, and I have to go backwards. Okay, so I'm first going to minus 7 to get rid of the plus 7. Okay, so I'm gonna write it, I'm going to stack it like this. That way it saves me from having to rewrite the whole problem. 7 minus 7 is 0. That goes away. So I'm left with 10x plus 14 over 2. And 4 minus 7, that's the same as 4 plus negative 7, is negative 3. Okay, I did the first step. Now it says I need to multiply both sides of the equation by 2. I have to multiply this by 2. Okay, look at this. I got 2 divided by 2. Okay, so I could rewrite this. I can put the 2 out here. Remember, we were able to, if we had two things being multiplied on top, we can move the denominator over to here. So this is 2 divided by 2. So we're doing the times by 2 to get rid of the divide by 2. So I'm left with 10x plus 14. And on the right-hand side, I had to do the exact same thing, times by 2, and I get negative 6. All right, did that. Now I need to minus 14. So minus 14 from both sides, and I'm going to get, those are going to go away. The minus 14 gets rid of the plus 14. I'm left with 10x. Negative 6 plus negative 14 is negative 20. And then lastly, I need to divide by 10. Divide by 10. Divide by 10. I get x is equal to negative 2. Okay, so there is with the balance method. I'm going to do the same problem with the with deconstruction, because you could do this with deconstruction. So let's just quickly do that with deconstruction. So I'm just going to do it over here. So I have, looking at my problem, can we see it? There it is. Okay, I have x equals 10x equals 10x plus 14 equals 10x plus 14 divided by 2 equals, and lastly 10x plus 14 divided by 2 plus 7 equals 4. Okay, so I kind of think that this problem is maybe even actually a little bit easier with the deconstruction method. I think you'll probably like it better, but I want to show you can do it either way. So times by 10 plus 14 divide by 2 plus 7. Okay, and now I'm going to reverse those. Do the opposite. The opposite of plus 7 is minus 7. 4 plus negative 7 is negative 3. And then the opposite of divide by 2 is times by 2. Negative 3 times 2 is negative 6. The opposite of, that was a plus. The opposite of plus 14 is minus 14. Negative 6 minus 14, that's the same as negative 6 plus negative 14, that's negative 20. And then lastly, times by 10, the opposite divide by 10 is negative 2. See how we got the same answer? So here's deconstruction, and here is balancing, and we got the same answer. All right, so you're probably saying, yeah, we've kind of already done problems like that. Why is this our new notes? What's so new about this? Aha, this was really kind of just a warm-up. The new thing is we're going to do this problem again, but I'm going to make it a little bit harder. What if I have an x on the right-hand side? So I have 10x plus 14 divided by 2 plus 7 equals 4x. Holy cow, look what just happened. I've got an x over here on the right-hand side. So what happens if we try and solve this? If we try and solve this using my balance method again, what happens if we try and do this? Okay, so I'm going to use my same steps that I did for the balance. So I'm going to start by minusing 7. We're just going to see what happens. So minus 7 from both sides. So the 7's cancel out. And I still have on this side 10x plus 14 over 2. And on the right-hand side, I have 4x minus 7. Wait a minute. Those aren't like terms. I cannot combine those together. So I just have to write 4x minus 7. I cannot combine those together. Okay, next step, it was to times by 2. To get rid of divide by 2, I have to times by 2. So I have to times both sides by 2. I have to multiply everything by 2. Okay, super important. Put in parentheses. I have to multiply everything by 2. Now the times by 2 cancels out the divide by 2. Okay, we learned that with reducing fractions. So I'm left with 10x plus 14 is equal to, what do I have to do over here? I have to distribute. So 2 times 4x is 8x. 2 times 7 is 14. And you can write plus and negative 14 or just minus 14. Holy cow, look what's happening now. So at this point, this is where we want to start thinking and not just go by this anymore. I'm thinking, wait a minute, this looks like my warm-up. When I have x's on both sides of the equal sign, I need to get rid of the one on the right. So I'm going to get rid of this 8x by minusing 8x. See how I'm stacking it this time? I'm just stacking it rather than writing the whole problem again. Okay, so 8x minus 8x, that goes away. That's gone. What's left? My negative 14. And on the left-hand side, 10x minus 8x is 2x plus 14. And now look at that. Now I have an easy problem to solve. You can do it by balancing or deconstruction, whichever you prefer is fine. I'm going to go ahead and keep balancing. So I see my x as being times by 2 and added by 14. So my opposites would be to minus 14 and then divide by 2. So I'm going to minus 14 to get rid of this plus 14. And the 14s go away. I'm left with 2x equals negative 14 plus negative 14 is negative 28. Then I need to divide both sides by 2. And I get x is equal to negative 14. Okay, I could go back and check that. I'm just going to do it on my calculator just to prove to myself that I got it right. So I'm going to do 10 times negative 14 plus 14. That gives me negative 126. I don't know if you can see that. Divide by 2. That gives me negative 63 plus 7. That gives me negative 56. Okay, so for my check, I'm kind of just doing it in my calculator. My check, I got negative 56 on the left. And then on the right, I'm going to do negative 4 times negative 14. 4 times negative 14. And that gives me negative 56. Yay! Happy face. Okay, I used my calculator to do my check, but I did want to make sure it was right. Okay, so that was using the balance method. Now, I know a lot of you prefer deconstruction. So can we do this with deconstruction? Yes, we can do this with deconstruction, but this part, you're going to, gets a little bit messy, okay? So if we try doing this with deconstruction, it gets a little bit messy, but we can give it a try. So I think the balance method really is the way to go on this, but let's go ahead. Let's see if we can try it with deconstruction. All right, so if I do it with deconstruction, x equals 10x equals 10x plus 14 equals 10x plus 14 divided by 2 equals 10x plus 14 divided by 2 plus 7 equals 4x. All right, so let's see what happens if we do this with deconstruction. Times by 10 plus 14 divide by 2 plus 7. Okay, opposites would be minus 7. 4x minus 7. Oh, not like terms. So I'm going to have to write 4x minus 7. Look familiar? We saw that. Happened over here. Same thing. Okay, next, divide by 2. The opposite of divide by 2 is times by 2. I have to multiply everything by 2. Everything gets multiplied by 2. 2 times 4 is 8x. We have to distribute this. 2 times 7 is 14. Oh, interesting. Didn't we see that over here? Yeah. Okay, now this is where we have to stop. If we try and add 14 and then divide by 10, we're just going to end up with a mess. Okay, I can show you. You want to see? Yeah, let's see the mess. Okay, so opposite of plus 14 is minus 14. So we get 8x. Negative 14 minus 14 is negative 28. And then the last step we have is divide by 10. We would have 8x minus 28, 8x minus 28 over 10. What? What? The answer is supposed to be negative 14. Here's the answer. So at this point, things went crazy. Things went crazy. But if we back it up to here, where I have a nice, pretty simple looking equation, I can take this, and now I can balance this. I can go ahead and balance this if I want. So this method, doing the deconstruction, doesn't work all the way. But we could take this, 10x equals 8x minus 28, and we could now take this. We don't want to do this. That's just meaningless. That doesn't really help us. We can take this and balance it. So I don't want to have any x's on the right-hand side. So how do I get rid of that 8x? I have to minus it. So I'm going to minus 8x. If I minus 8x here, I can minus 8x over here. So 10x minus 8x is 2x. The 8x's go away. I'm left with negative 28. Aha! X is being times by 2. Let's just continue balancing. Or you could do deconstruction on this if you wanted to. You could do x equals 2x equals negative 28 times by 2. So we have to divide by 2. So we could go back to our deconstruction at this point. Negative 28 divided by 2 is negative 14. Did I get the same answer? Yes. Okay, so here it is with deconstruction, but you have to do some balancing. You could have done the balancing here or here, but that last step didn't work out. Okay, so we have to be really clever. We have to be thinking while we're doing these problems. You can't just go step, 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 step. No, you have to think, when do we have to switch to balancing? When do we have to switch to balancing on these? All right, so that's our notes for today. In the math space assignment, there's 2 problems like this. So refer to your notes. You can either do it this way, the balance method. See how nice and simple the balance method was on that. Or you can try and do it the deconstruction, but it gets a little messy. It gets a little messy doing the deconstruction. Okay, so good luck. If you get stuck, just send me an email and I'll help you with those problems. Okay, they're really hard problems today. So if you get stuck, email me right away and I will help you. Sorry for such a long video, but I'm sure you missed me terribly over the weekend. All right, talk to you soon. Bye-bye.